Hello, truth-seeking friends. I have the answer. The results of my first experiment with E squared. And the name of the experiment is The Dude Abides. And the question, the hypothesis I'm testing is that there's something out there that will respond when I ask it for something. So I asked it for an unequivocal sign that couldn't be put down to coincidence that it exists. And I left it for 48 hours. And this is what happened. Of consequence, obviously, I'm not going to tell you about 2 whole days. But what happened of consequence is that a potential signs is that first, the moment I had put the book down and had a cup of tea, I started this YouTube channel. And I was wondering if that was the sign. And you could argue that it kind of precipitated it, but I've been thinking about this YouTube channel for 6 months. I named it in January. It is now March. I've had lots of thoughts about it, and my intention has always been to do it. So no coincidence there. No magic. So the second thing that happened on the second day was that a neighbour who I've always wanted to talk to for a bit longer happened to get on the same bus as me. And so we had a chat. It was lovely. Nothing amazing happened as a result of it. So no magic there. The third thing that happened was that I was gardening, and it was a lovely day, and I was really enjoying the tweeting birds and the germinating plants of spring. And what popped into my head was clarity about an interpersonal issue that I've been having, which I'm not going to go into, which really helped me. But that's what I do all day, is think about interpersonal relationships. And I get these sudden understandings sometimes, especially when I'm not thinking about them. So probably no coincidence there. No magic. And the last thing that happened is that I need to tell you, rather shamefacedly, that I bought my first packet of cigarettes for, I don't know, 20 years. A couple of days before I started this. And yesterday I got an invitation from my family doctor to go for a lung function test. And sure, I'm approximately that age, but I didn't know they do those things. And great timing, eh? So I'm going to say, okay, if there is something, if there is a sign that there's something out there listening to my prayers, that would be it. Okay. So, and obviously this whole question of, is there a cause out there that I don't know about, is actually more about, well, I say it's obvious, but to me, my normal everyday mind is telling me that if you look for a cause, you'll find one. and it may not be actually related. But I'm going to keep my mind open to the possibility that this book can teach me something that I don't know in my ordinary everyday mind, and move on to experiment 2. Okay, so experiment 2 is prefaced with a quote that goes like this. Miracles are like pimples because once you start looking for them, you find more than you'd ever dreamed you'd see. And that's got the distinctive humour of Lemony Snicket in the series of unfortunate events. So not necessarily known for his wisdom, but actually we all know that's true, don't we? The more you look for something, the more you'll see it. So that's what this experiment is to demonstrate the hypothesis, or test the hypothesis, that my intentions impact the world and draw from it according to my beliefs and expectations. Okay, to me that doesn't sound like magic, right? It doesn't sound like it needs an explanation outside my own mind, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, so I have been aware at times, lovely and awful times of my life, that there are things happening in the world that I am not aware of. That then the limits of my own mind mean that I don't see it all. Okay, so the example that comes to mind for me is when I went to the Grand Canyon. And I'm somebody who was born and bred in central London, where if you can see for half a mile, then it's thought of as a world-beating view. So when I went to the Grand Canyon and I was told that it was a mile wide and 10 miles long, the mile wide, I didn't believe. I couldn't conceive of it being that vast. So I was looking at it, and I was lucky enough at that time to be able to afford a tourist like little plane ride along it, and I couldn't believe how long it took us to get across in a little aeroplane. Okay, so to me that meant look, my mind is not broad enough to even conceive the size of this thing. And so I can imagine that then, in a kind of weird secondhand way, that there might be things out there that I can't conceive of. And so I am going into this experiment with a very open mind. So what she suggests is that the first day you look for a certain colour of car, and I'm going to go for green. Okay, because I live in London, I don't really notice green cars very often. And so that will be a good test, I think. And then the second day, she suggests something, what is it? Butterflies. And I'm going to say, that would be a really amazing test in March in London in a storm. So I am going to, give this a bit of a better option, which I think is going to be, what shall I choose? What shall I choose? Something that I don't expect to see, but I know exists in London. How about people I recognise? People I recognise. So, okay, Yeah, why not? So today I'm looking out for green cars, and the hypothesis being, if I decide to look for green cars, I will find them. If I decide to look for people I recognise, I will find them. So it is now 8:20 on Thursday, the 28th March, and this experiment will end at 8:30 on Easter Saturday, the 30th March, and I will report back. Okay. Bye. Keep reading.